Pizza Jaffa's orange grows. Microchips is us. iPhone cameras us. Taco salads us. Toda vamos us. Olive Garden us. White phosphor us. Sabra Hamas. Hezbollah us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech chai, everyone, and welcome to Bad Chazbara.
I'm just glad you're not doing Baruch at Adonai Hamvorach, where I'd actually have to stand up, you know? So far, you're doing all the sitting ones. Actually, you did the Kaddish last time. I should have stood up. Anyway, It's the world's most Hebraically liturgical podcast, apparently. We're kicking things off every episode with another holy prayer, keeping it sacred up in here.
Keeping it sacred up in this bitch. My name is Matt Lieb. I will be your world's most moral podcast host for this evening.
You're the rabbi. I'm the gabbai, or the chazan, or the cantor. I'm Daniel Mate, the other guy. The other guy who's up there. I'm the junior rabbi.
Yeah. The second in command, the consigliere, if you will.
Sometimes the junior rabbi is 10 years older than the senior rabbi.
It happens. It does happen. And sometimes the rabbi's a girl. Shout out to Reform temples who got girl rabbi. Very excited for you to join us for another wonderful episode of the world's most moral podcast. Please give us 5 stars and a review on all of the apps in which you can do that. Tell your friends about it. You know, if you have friends that are not just parasocial, but like real life people that you
First of all, well done.
Yeah. First of all, how did you do that? That's crazy. All of my friends I just start podcasts with, and then they become some sort of like in between thing where they're like friends but also business partners, you know? And I feel like rather than maintaining a friendship of, you know, just free of all the shackles of capitalism, I add capitalism to the friendship just to see what happens.
You supersize it.
That's right.
You give it a boost. Well, you know what Tom Waits said about friends?
I don't.
Champagne for my real friends. Real pain for my sham friends.
Oh, yeah. I do know that. I guess I just didn't know that was Tom Waits.
Well, it's attributed to him. I mean, who knows who he ripped it off from?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Where do you rip off that voice, too?
Three-Eyed Joe.
Yeah.
Down by the train tracks.
Back in old Huntington Beach where I used to surf. Isn't he from San Diego or some shit? I swear to God. Listen, he's great. I'm just saying, why does he sound like that?
What is he building in there?
That's right. And also, shout out to, of course, producer Adam Levin on the ones and twos. And we want to let you know that those shirt designs that we showcased in New York are now available for everyone at badhasbar.com. You can go to the website and buy yourself a shirt. Here's what they look like.
Go to the website, buy yourself a shirt.
That's right. Buy yourself a shirt. So if you'll look closely, you'll see it's a USB stick that says Bad as Bar, the world's most moral podcast on it.
Adam, just nod emphatically yes or no. Do you mind if I show on camera the very special item that you got for me? All right. This does not mean anything, folks. No. This does not mean anything about my personal life.
Oh, yeah. Don't take this to mean...
Don't take this as an announcement or innuendo about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love it. It's a little baby onesie.
It's a little baby onesie with the.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
It really is. Adam also sent me some for my daughter, and she loves them. The pink ones especially. My daughter's obsessed with pink.
So hopefully at some point there'll be a larger run of those available.
Or once a little baby mate someday.
Exactly. Once we catch on. Once you get your kids to subscribe to us on YouTube.
That's right. Oh, we
Bad has baby.
Have a bad has baby. That's right. Someday, I feel like I'm going to turn into your dad, just begging you to have children. I like to do that to my friends now. Actually, anyone who I know who's still single and doesn't have kids, I'm just like, just have some kids, please. That way, I could hang out with you and it makes sense. Yeah. So go get the shirt. Today's sponsor.
I'll think about it.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by United Palestinian Appeal. United Palestinian Appeal has worked in Gaza for 45 years and is currently providing critical pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and vaccines in the region. Additionally, they provide farm aid, clothing, and sleeping bags for families in Gaza. You can donate right now by going to upaconnect.org. That's upaconnect.org. Please do so. They need your money more than we do. But if you do also want to get an extra episode, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/badassbara. We had Ismail Lutfi on Friday, and it was a fucking hilarious and fun episode. And the fact that y'all are missing it, that's crying shame, I say. That's what I say.
It started off with you and me realizing that we'd been mispronouncing his name for a long time. We thought his name was Lufti, as in like Luftwaffe.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's that Holocaust education. See, this is a problem with Holocaust education. Problem
is there like
I mispronounce my friends' names.
Is there like a creperie and Belgian dessert place called Luftwaffe?
Oh, if there's
because there needs to be.
There should be. And you know what? I'd give them a pass for a good pun. You can pretty much name your business anything if the pun is good, including stuff that is objectively offensive.
That's right.
Daniel.
Homie.
What's the spin?
Today, Monday, November 24th, when we're recording this, Jimmy Cliff died today at age 81, the great reggae artist. And he did the soundtrack famously to The Harder They Come.
Yeah.
And, songs like You Can Get It If You Really Want. And
I love that song.
Yep. By the Rivers of Babylon, he sang. And
that was him?
No, sorry, that's not him, but it's on this soundtrack. So he sort of, he is featured heavily, and I think he was in the film. Might have starred in the film. Anyway, so I've got that, and then a bunch of other soundtracks to classic black films. There's the
Dangerous Minds.
I don't have that one. I don't have that one.
Film.
I think I filed that one.
White film.
I filed that one under Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer's her own genre. It's not a black film. It's not a white film. It's a Pfeiffer film.
And not Phife Dog from A Tribe Called Quest. Ganja and Hess is a cult classic. And this is the soundtrack to that.
Nice.
There's a record I don't have, but I realized I had to get it, so I just ordered it. Here it is. It's the soundtrack to the classic Jamaican film Rockers. And I saw this film a long time ago, and there's just one line that stuck in my memory because he keeps saying it. So he's this reggae drummer who buys a new motorbike. There's not much of a plot. He gets his motorbike stolen by a bunch of gangsters, and he keeps saying, "Rasta, dem thief I'm on bike. Dem thief I'm on bike." And that line has stuck in my head for a long time.
Dem thief?
Dem thief, they thieved.
Oh.
I'm on my bike.
I love Jamaican. What is it? Patois. It's just the coolest.
It is a cool language. Shaft, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Barry.
It's a bad mother. Shut
Isaac.
Your mouth.
Isaac
Hayes. Curtis Mayfield. Superfly. Of course.
Yes.
One of the greatest. Ghost Dog. Forrest Whitaker. Jim Jarmusch. RZA from Wu-Tang Clan did the soundtrack.
That's right.
Really cool album. Slam, the soundtrack. Saul Williams starred in this film.
I don't know Slam.
Do you know Saul Williams?
It sounds familiar.
We need to have him on the show. He's a really staunch Palestine advocate. Incredible poet. He's collaborated with Zach De La Roca.
Oh,
and
yeah.
others.
I know him.
Yeah. So he starred in this as a Washington, D.C. poet who goes to jail over some petty weed possession in the 90s. It's got an incredible soundtrack, including his poetry. It's a great... Sonia Sohn, who played... you know who.
Oh, of course. Sonia
Kima
Sohn
Greggs.
She's
the love interest in the film, a fellow poet.
Yeah, what is Kima?
She's
Kima Greggs.
So she comes to jail.
On The Wire, if you don't know.
So she comes to the prison he's in and leads a poetry workshop for the men there, and they fall in love. Anyway, it's a beautiful film. And finally, what serious look at black films and soundtracks would be complete without High School High, the John Lovitz film? You see, See John Lovitz with the Jufro there?
I don't know if that is a Jufro there going on.
Well, yeah.
It's doing I forgot his blackface movie.
Yeah,
no, it's where he plays a high school teacher, and it's sort of a parody or a send-up.
It's a parody of Dangerous Minds.
Yes. That's right.
It's sort of the scary movie for that genre.
Yeah, that's the movie that introduced me to the, what is it? Is not Bruce Johnston, the other Beach Boy, who touring Beach Boy who was with them, who wrote Rhinestone Cowboy. What's the name of that guy?
Don't know.
You don't know, like a rhinestone cowboy.
I know the song. I don't know who wrote it.
All right, well, I'm gonna look it up now because this is important for everyone to know. Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell. Okay, yeah, very good.
Glenn Campbell was in the touring Beach Boys for a while when Brian left.
Got it. And he was in this film?
No, he did that song. Rhinestone Cowboy gets remixed at one point.
Oh,
it was in
funny.
the trailer. Big laugh line for us 12-year-olds.
Well, you got KRS-One, you got De La Soul, you got the Braxtons, you got the Roots. So it's a great soundtrack. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
There
Salute
it is.
Black Cinema.
That is what's
and
spinning.
Rest in peace, Jimmy Cliff.
Yes. And now it is time to introduce our guest. You know her already. You love her already. She is.
She comes pre-approved.
This guest comes back, and every time it is the best episode we've ever had. We have there's only a handful, I would say, of Bad Hasbara guests who constantly get brought up in the comment section every time. Like, have this person back, have that person back. And one of them is our guest journalist. You know her from, of course, Electronic Intifada. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, welcome back to the podcast, Nora Barrows Friedman.
Hi, guys. Is this my fourth? Four.
Is this four?
Four? Maybe five even?
I don't know. It's at so many. Once you start losing count, that's how you know. That's how you know that you're one of our most prized guests.
Oh,
so good to have you back. How have you been?
Still bad, but really good to see you all.
Yeah. Things suck.
We're all in it together. It's fine.
I have to ask you, Laura, we haven't because there's been so much Hasbara on, like, sort of proxy Hasbara around Mamdani and New York, and we're going to and like ridiculous American figures like Sarah Hurwitz popping off and giving us just massive fountains of slop. It's been a while since we did any sort of check-in on what's actually going on in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And since you are part of the Electronic Intifada, whose primary mission is to report from the ground and on what's happening there, we don't have too much time to spend on it, but I was wondering if you could just give us an update. Like, what's the state of the so-called ceasefire and what's happening?
Yeah, so there's not a ceasefire.
What? But they said.
I know, but they said. They promised.
They promised.
No, they just keep massacring Palestinians, lots of children. The siege is still in place, so there's, no food, infrastructure, repair, supplies, medicine, medical equipment coming in.
Is the killing happening from the air on the ground? Are there Israeli soldiers in Gaza?
Yes, there are still Israeli soldiers in Gaza. They've kind of partitioned it into this very dystopian, the whole thing is dystopian, but this very ridiculous, basically concentrating all the Palestinians into a smaller and smaller and smaller strip. They're calling it like the red zone. And then outside of that is the yellow line. And the so-called yellow line, it's very vague. Of course, it's invisible. The Israelis keep pushing it further and further west. And so it's a concentration camp within a concentration camp within a concentration camp. And people are still being slaughtered and starving and dying of all sorts of just horrific and preventable diseases. Of course, the winter is upon the Palestinians, and with, something like 92% of all buildings destroyed and no rubble able to be cleared, people are drowning in freezing cold sewage water. And there's no tents, no shelters. There's thousands and thousands of, tarps and tents and mobile homes ready to be delivered to Gaza. But whatever Israel wants, it gets. It has, it just keeps preventing all these essential things from being delivered to Gaza. So it's a catastrophe. It's an ongoing genocide, and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah. And this is right here, what you're talking about with this yellow line here. This is what they are doing in Gaza in terms of concentrating, pushing people closer and closer to the sea, which is, I would say ironic. But at this point, it's ridiculous to even consider the idea that Israelis are or have ever been afraid of being pushed into the sea, which is always
projection.
Is always the line that they've had when they are literally now.
Yeah, that's one of the classic lines. That's one of the, I grew up with that line. Yeah,
same. And it was one of those things I never questioned because I wasn't sure if it was a metaphor or if it was something that people did. Like, it was like, is that something people do? They're like, oh, I hate this group of people. Let's push them into the ocean. Mm-hmm. And it always confused me. And then, of course, as I grew up and saw where Gaza was situated.
Oh, you mean right along the sea?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I think I've seen this before. I've heard about this whole pushing into the sea thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fucking, it's awful. And we're at a point right now where the media narrative, they've tried very hard to shift it as soon as the quote ceasefire, happened and the hostage exchange, the captive exchange happened. We were supposed to all move on from it and forget about, what's happening. And of course we all knew this was just going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the way in which the story still has been fairly resilient. It's one of the things that kind of I was worried. I think once this all happened, I was like, this is going to be a perfect excuse for anyone who is gaining any sort of like political traction from this issue to abandon it. To be like, oh, this is good, so I don't have to care about this anymore because, the majority of people have stopped caring because the news told them everything was fine. Right. And instead, you see, a civil war on the right when it comes to this issue, and you still see an insurgent left movement actually winning, in some aspects in our own American, electoral system. So
not that they're not trying. When we get to our story about this Führer about
the other Führer.
Who knows now? You're right.
Yeah. About the protest at the Park East Synagogue.
Yeah.
A lot of the Hezbollists wanted to trot out.
Yeah.
There's not even a war going on anymore. It's a ceasefire. What are they so upset about?
Right.
Yes.
You see, it was never about Zionism. Right. It was never about Israel all along. It was just about Jews. But I don't want to.
We won't jump ahead too much. But it is. That's why it is. I think for those of you who listen and watch this podcast, who are in that kind of like helpless space of just like seeing this, continue to go on, and what am I going to do? Other than putting your money where your mouth is and trying to support whatever you can out there, whoever's got a chuffed account or whatever organization out there is actually doing good work. Other than that, it is about not letting go of this and remembering that they lie and they will continue to lie to you.
That's all Israel does is lie, break, promises, violate whatever treaties or ceasefires or agreements. Yeah. And they get rewarded for it. So why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
It's been 80 years of being rewarded for doing the most heinous, genocidal, ethnic cleansing, apartheid, racist shit imaginable. So why would they stop now?
Yeah, doing racist shit while simultaneously acting offended and pearl clutching at perceived racist insults.
They're so sad and their feelings are so hurt. And that's the most important thing is their feelings.
Yes. We must center Jewish feelings.
Always.
This is the Jewish Feelings Podcast. And we remember that we are the center of the universe, and what happens to us is the only thing that matters.
The center of Gravlock Savity. No,
you'll get there.
Yeah.
Work it out now. But speaking of that, centering Jewish feelings, I have a small Yisrael AI segment I'd like to do, and I of course cannot do it without first playing the bumper. Picture of a lion with an Israeli flag. And a picture of Hamas as an octopus or a bug. I'm Israel high. I'm Israel high. I'm Israel AI. Israel AI.
Oh my God.
I love it. Every time I play it, I go, no, I'm not going to play the whole thing. And then I'm just like,
good.
There are people who are dancing right now. So I was on Twitter, as I like to do, and I saw this post from a friend of the pod, Elon Levy, who was posting about, I'll show it to you. It's from the Jewish News Network. Archbishop of York accuses Israel of committing, quote, genocidal acts in Gaza. And he wrote, quote, church accuses Jews of poisoning wells. It's genuinely staggering how little Britain has changed since the Middle Ages in some major respects.
It's genuinely staggering how Jews have learned how to take their cue from those who were in power in the Middle Ages.
Isn't that staggering?
It's the things that stagger me are the ways in which middle-aged anti-Semitic tropes are now just a list of things we're allowed to do.
Yes.
It's just like, no, we can pretty much do anything as long as we say it was a trope before.
Right.
That is something that it's reparations for saying that we poison wells.
Don't be going out at night, dearie. The Jews, they come in the nighttime and they haunt the local shepherds and they'll kill the goats and they'll put them in the wells, won't they? But Mommy, isn't that an old wives' tale? Oh no, it's very true. The Jewish settlers will come and they'll haunt your dreams.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're taking all of your, terrorism strategies from old middle-aged anti-Semitic tropes, that's on you. That's not on the fucking people who are like, don't do that. Also, this guy in this, this Archbishop of York did, at least in the headline, does not say Jews are poisoning wells. To be clear.
That's in the West Bank, at least.
Yeah,
Jews
no,
are
that's what they
poisoning
do
wells.
in the West Bank.
Yeah.
They just last week they kidnapped and slaughtered all these like sheep, and then they put the bodies of the sheep in the village wells.
Yes.
To poison the wells.
Yes.
Jews did that.
Yeah. And it's like, it sucks that Jews are doing that, but that is Jews doing that in the West Bank. You can't just, and so I just wrote like this stupid tweet. Like, at some point, I should try to make matzah out of Christian blood and see if I can get away with it by saying big yikes to the DA who comes after me. Because like the whole thing is like,
oh, you're accusing me of a trope?
Like, wow, trope much? Like,
but I'm Jewish.
But I'm Jewish. You can't accuse me of that. If I literally do that, and they're like, they have no choice but to prosecute me for it. And I go, oh, wow. This is a bit problematic, you guys.
I think we have to talk about my feelings here.
Yes.
You know that trope is the name for the musical notational system by which people chant Torah? If you read trope, you can read the words, but also read the melody with the markings that go. Like, as a bar mitzvah boy, you learn to read the little trope markings. Yeah, trope.
Look at that.
Wow.
I'm learning something new every day.
Mm-hmm. Tropes are amazing. Baked into our
tropes are part of it.
That's so deep.
So this tweet is, whatever. I did a tweet. And then I started getting attacked by someone who's been like so this is like I have like a handful of people who I would say are kind of like regulars.
On your dick.
Yeah. They've been on my dick for a while, and I kind of I don't, for the most part, I don't block people on Twitter because it's just funnier to never respond to them and just kind of see what happens. But this person has finally had enough of me, and I just want to show you a series of tweets that they made. Do you think this is funny, Matzah? You fucking loser. You're not funny. You suck balls. Here you are playing donkey.
How does someone play donkey?
I'll show you.
Her name is Claudine Gay Flintstone.
Claudine Gay Flintstone. Klal Yisra
Keel?
Thanks, producer Adam, for coming in, making a salient point here. In her defense, you do suck balls, he said.
I do. That's fair.
It's just factual.
That's right.
As Norman Finkelstein says, I never quarrel with facts.
That's right. The fact is, balls go in my mouth. But this person then...
They go in, and then they go slightly out, and then they go back in.
And then
again.
go right back in. And so this person then proceeded to just make AI versions of me, quote unquote, doing various sexual acts with a donkey. The ones that I will show, I mean, it's AI, so at least unless you have some sort of Sora password protected porn type thing, there's no actual porn on this, so I can show it. But here's the first image.
Who is that?
This is me playing donkey, Nora.
Underneath the Golden Gate?
Yeah, I guess because this account knows I lived in San Francisco. Here's another one. Look at the
first
wow,
one was,
at least they gave
the
you
first
like
one
a
was
big package.
Stavros. This one is Mark Maron.
I just want to know what did this person
one
type
hump
in?
or two, Matt?
I know it. This is a double hump. One of them's filled with water.
That's
the
a
other
camel.
That is a camel. This is another one. Once again, it's me. Is that Coit
Hot.
Tower in the background?
That's super hot. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. My AI mats are far superior. Yes, that's true, Adam. Adam actually can make me his scare me. And then finally,
yes.
this is me.
Borat, Matt.
Yeah.
As a, what's it called? One of those satyrs? The
I'm
horse
not sure.
Donkey man.
But hold on.
Yeah.
The donkey's head is sticking through
my
your
torso?
jock,
Thong?
your thong, yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that phase that looks actually like producer Young Chomsky of TrueAnon.
That's right. That does look like him. And then you see the Transamerica building in the background. So I just want to shout out to my haters for using me as their muse to make art. I really appreciate that.
I think I just covered. Excuse me. God damn it. Let me try that again.
Do it again.
Take two.
Forgive me, Rabbi. I think I just coveted my neighbor's ass.
Fantastic. So that's today's Israel AI segment. We're moving on from that to talk about something else. Last week, Nora, was it last week? I think it was. I don't know if you're aware of everything that was going on in New York with Mamdani's, with his win. The ADL has been on his ass. And of course, they've been on his ass since before then. But after his win, the head of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, went on various news programs to announce a new phone line at the ADL called the Mamdani Monitor.
Fantastic.
Yes.
He said on MSNBC, Jews of New York, we have your back. We're launching the Mamdani Monitor. This is the morning after the fucking election.
God.
He's
such a loser.
I
hate that guy.
He's the biggest loser in the world.
What a sad man. Just the saddest man.
I mean, his life is like you think he has like a picture of like Stephen Miller somewhere in his room where he's just like, curses. There's already a bald Jewish Nazi out there who's got more power than I do.
It's a very sad genetic mix to be Latvian on your dad's side and Gila monster on your mom.
Well, that's the thing about the Gila monster. dude.
Hava Nagila monster.
He's a Hava Nagila.
He's the Hava Nagila monster.
Well, unfortunately, Mamdani is a victim of the Gila monster's bite because, as you know, once it bites, it does not let go. You have to pry their jaws off with a crowbar, and he is not letting go of Mamdani. He created this basically a phone line where you can call in as a New Yorker and you can report acts of anti-Semitism. This is, of course, in order to up the numbers of
which the ADL is famous for doing. You know, they have every year they have a anti-Semitism tracker, whatever, and they put out all their data in a spreadsheet. And they say, you know, anti-Semitic incidents were up 4,000% last year, whatever. And you go down the list of what they consider an anti-Semitic incident. And it's like a person saw a Palestine flag pinned somewhere at a grocery store.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
They really put the
my
Jew in juking the stats. Am I
There
right,
you
Matt?
go.
right.
That's
That's right.
it. They juke those
You're
stats.
firing on all cylinders.
Wow, Daniel
Look at him
Mate. Wow.
But yeah,
Fantastic.
what's really funny about the Mamdani monitor is also like, isn't that already like this is what the ADL does? Why are you acting like this is a new thing that the ADL is doing? But because of that, we had an even better helpline that we invited not just New Yorkers but the entire world to participate in. It is called the Betarhelp call line. You call in.
Is that a box of Kleenex on the top?
That is, yeah. One hand is a Kleenex and the other one is a missile. You know, and you of course still can call in. Phone lines are always open. You can leave a voicemail or you can text at this number 747-348-5259.
It's a great thing to do together as a family. As right after you light the menorah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Call in and
Or use the Kleenex
or the
for
missile.
a purpose, or the missile.
Yes. And so we invite people to call in to talk about an instance of anti-Semitism that they perceived. And we at Betarhelp will tell them whether or not it counts as anti-Semitism, you know, because, you know, there are some things that don't count. For example, doing a Sig Heil Nazi salute at the inauguration of the president. As long as you're pro-Israel and you're also allowing your website, which you acquired for $48 billion, to spout out just a bunch of pro-Israel nonsense, you can do that. Or if you're Trump, you can say Shylock as much as you want, as John Podhoretz put so succinctly on Twitter. So we will let you know whether or not it counts. And we have a few submissions. So I want to, first we'll start with...
Do I get to vote?
Oh, yeah.
You get to
God.
consult. You get to.
I'm
Yes.
a consultant?
Yes,
I
you
feel
are a
so
consultant.
honored.
You are finally part of the consultant class. Welcome. It's a dream.
Thank God. It is a dream.
And we'll start with the text messages. And we will all, you know, we'll talk it out, see if it counts. All right, first text message. Hi, I went to see Fish, and they didn't play a vein.
And they weren't smoked.
Yes, and they weren't smoked.
Oh,
And
that actually almost works in a
Yeah.
double kind of way.
and they didn't play Avenu Malkenu.
Avinu Malkenu.
Yeah, is that anti-Semitism?
Yes.
You're counting that? Okay. Daniel, what
I
do you
think that all bands, I think all bands should play Jewish folk music.
I agree.
Yeah. And if they don't, that gets added to the list of anti-Semitic incidents.
I agree. I
Well,
think
by the strict, honestly, by the strict dictates of the Betarhelp line, which we are here to represent. We're not here to represent our personal opinions, but there is a sort of standard just for the Mamdani, just like there is for the Mamdani monitor. So I'm going to have to dissent.
we're
and say,
descending.
I'm going to have to ask the person, did they play Jerusalem of Gold?
Oh,
Did they play the Palmach theme song? You know, the marching fighting
even
song
better.
of the Palmach. Did they play Hatikva? Did they do a 25-minute jam band version of Hatikva that you could trip out to?
right.
If not, then you were probably the victim of a hate crime by omission.
Yeah.
Because there are hate crimes by omission.
Right.
A
Did
Vina
they
Malkenu.
play a 25-minute version of that chicken dance song that won Eurovision that year? You know?
Exactly.
Yes. Or the ones I was listening to the Jamie Loftus episode that you guys just did, which was great because I love her. Her book is fantastic. I was
great.
like so excited. And you guys were talking with her about that new track by the Israeli girl band where they have the homes
The building
blowing up in the
yeah.
background during the first 10 seconds. And if Fish doesn't cover that song, wear the costumes and blow up their set behind them while they're playing, then then they've done an anti-Semitism.
All right. Where am I going? Let me see. I think that if you went to a Fish concert and your first question isn't, is it anti-Semitic for me to go see live music when the Nova Music Festival happened? Then you are actually doing anti-Semitism by texting that question.
Also, I would say that by association, who made an ice cream flavor dedicated to fish?
Oh, good call. Ben and Jerry's did that.
What are you doing,
so
man?
deep,
What are you
doesn't it?
doing?
What are you doing going to
Eating that fish food.
You understand that, Fish is essentially Hamas now. So you come here, you don't mention Nova, and you are seeing a band that partnered with Hamas.
See, this is what's going to happen. People are going to call into this hotline playing all innocent, saying
Yeah, they're
they're
gonna pretend.
looking for incidents against them, but they might actually be the perpetrator.
That's right.
We have to sniff
If
that
you
out.
smelt it, you dealt it. Kind of
That's right. That's right. And, that's in the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, basically.
We are going to go to a voicemail now, and then we'll finish off with a text message. Here is a voicemail from someone who, of course, called the helpline and needs our help.
Hello. I have what I believe might be a case of anti-Semitism happening outside of my house right now. I am Jewish, and I am seeing a Palestinian flag and something that says "Free, Free Palestine" and "From the river to the sea." Now, I did put them up there myself, but I'm wondering, am I being anti-Semitic towards myself right now? So should I just get some Betarhelp so that I'm no longer anti-Semitic internally, I guess. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Mazel tov.
This is a very
shalom.
brave question.
Bye.
I really
Mazel
appreciate
tov
this.
or shalom.
I missed that.
So much. Mazel tov.
Sorry, I was talking over.
Shalom. Bye.
So look, I really appreciate this question. There's a lot of courage in this because one of the things that many of us are scared to admit is that anti-Semitism is coming at us from all angles.
Yes.
From our families,
it's like
from our
this,
workplaces,
like this,
Yeah.
like this,
from the
yeah.
media,
Yeah.
Up,
from
down.
the
Everywhere
kids.
we look. Everywhere. I'm just like, oh no.
Oh, no.
It's fucking
All the
crazy.
I don't have any more
anti-Semitism.
room for it. Oh.
Oh no. Every angle.
But we so often overlook the self-attacks. The self-attacks. Did Adam say something funny?
The bukkake of anti-Semitism. Go on.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. 2 girls, 1 Kiddush cup. Adam's bouncing around in his chair. Very
Yes.
excited. So the self-attacks, it's always the hardest when these internal parts attack us. And that self-loathing is the part of you that must have, while you weren't looking, or maybe in full view of you, went out and planted those flags and those banners. And
That's right.
we don't like to advocate self-harm on this show, but have you ever watched the television show Severance?
I've seen it. I know.
So there's a creative, we certainly wouldn't want you to do anything to harm yourself. I mean, yourself,
absolutely.
the self that is calling.
That's right.
Yeah.
However, there is apparently, because television wouldn't lie to us, prestige TV would not lie, there is apparently some kind of surgical procedure out there that can attack just one part of your
The subconscious.
subconscious. So I don't know, Dr. Ragabi, where you are out there, if you have a version of this for for anti-Zionist parts of the brain. But I would encourage you to do some IFS, internal family systems therapy, which works on parts. And hopefully you can find an IFS therapist who will help you hunt down, snitch on, imprison, and bury, if not murder outright, that part of you that is doing this, and then you will have peace.
It's like a brain bris.
Brain bris, very good.
A brain bris is the new name for a full frontal lobotomy. It's a brain bris. It'll make you calm. That's amazing. Yeah.
Pour a little wine on it afterwards.
I tend to agree with you. I will say that, like, hearing this question for me was a little bit traumatizing, because, like, if you're going to be out there, doing acts that are anti-Semitic, it would really be helpful if you instead could just draw a swastika on a synagogue, or just get some spray paint and go to a sidewalk and just be like, Jews, boo, something like that. That at the very least is the type of helpful anti-Semitism that is actually pro-Semitism. So please, You mean
because people are desensitized and we haven't managed to convince the world that Free Palestine is actually anti-Semitic, so we need some of that harder, raw shit?
I think we all know that people keep questioning that shit, and it's I'm not sure if it helps. So let's just go back to the classics. Call in bomb threats on several hundred synagogues throughout the country, as was done by
parody.
No. Yes, this is something that a Jewish kid did.
Premise.
Comedy.
Yes. Joke, bit, having fun,
having a laugh.
Yeah,
having
but that's a real story. That
Taking the piss.
Taking a piss. That is a real story. That of something that happened, and I was shocked by it, because I think he was Israeli too. Yes. It was in order to
to drum up much needed
fear in the Jewish community
and victimization and also, like, the most important thing, again, feelings.
Yes.
Perceived victimization.
That's right.
Built out of nothing. And
in fact, constructed specifically by someone.
I mean, that's the best. That's the best we can do, and we just got to keep doing it.
Manufacturing consternation.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a yes.
Yes.
Yes, you are anti-Semitic,
Yeah.
and of course, if you are Jewish, then you must move to Israel as penance.
Yes.
You are anti-Semitic, and please do better at being anti-Semitic.
Yes, exactly.
Make it count.
Make it count. I know. If you're gonna do it, make it count.
Do not throw away
in
your
for
shot.
a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah. In for a pound of flesh. I'm sorry.
In for a pound of flesh. Is that an anti-Semitic comment? In for a penny? I don't know.
I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound does sound anti-Semitic, but I can't really place
You
why.
know what? Everything is anti-Semitic
Everything is a
when we
trope.
see it. Everything is a trope.
That's right. I mean, you know, when I was a kid, I used to watch Saved by the Bell, and I was like, I don't know about this Screech guy.
All those idioms. A bird in the hand is worth two in the Hanukkah bush.
That's right. That's right. Okay, final message. This is a text message I will read to you. I am Catholic. Bad start.
No.
Well, hey,
instantly
isn't
anti-Semitic.
Ted Cruz Catholic?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good
He
point.
is a friend. So no. Okay. All right.
Is he
Not all
Catholic?
Catholics.
He seems
Yeah,
so
he's very-
Protestant,
Maybe-
evangelical. But
Or
I guess
maybe Marco Rubio.
yeah, probably Rubio. I could see that.
There's some Catholics.
He
that are
loves
on our
Israel
side.
so much, so he can't be anti-Semitic.
That's true. That's 100% true, and that's a great point. I am Catholic, but my husband's godfather has gone to YouTube University for several years now. I assume it means he watches a lot of YouTube videos, and he thinks that the only reason my husband contradicts the truth in capital letters he is revealing to him is because I am a secret Jew trying to undermine him.
What?
Am I experiencing anti-Semitism? This has been going on for a decade. Interesting.
Well, I'm easy to answer this. Are you a secret Jew trying to undermine him? If so, cut it out. Take some responsibility.
Yeah,
You're making us look bad.
Admit what you did.
Secret. What is
Undermine him in broad daylight.
Yeah. I mean,
just like own up to it.
Yeah.
Obviously, this guy is, he needs to be antagonized against.
that's right.
Maybe
Yeah.
like if he's like going to YouTube University and he's just like consuming conspiracy theories, like kick it up a notch.
Yeah.
Like make him scared. Make him scared.
That's right.
It's fun.
Go for it.
Go for it. Why not? Life is short.
I'd be interested to know what kind of YouTube videos he's watching because,
Yeah.
the way in which you've
we need
written
more
this
context.
makes me think you are a secret Jew. You know what I'm saying?
Also,
Yeah.
I'm not hearing any. I feel like Stan Valchek. I'm not hearing anything about Israel.
But you know what? I do think what he's saying, if he's saying, my godfather's gone to YouTube University and thinks that the only reason my husband contradicts the quote truth he is revealing to him is because I am a secret Jew. I imagine the truth that he is seeing on there is the truth. Shit, I don't really know. It really could go either way now.
Seriously, we need more data.
We need more data. I think we're going to have to table this one because honestly, I am not sure. All I know is
Jews are known for talking, circumlocution, talking around things, it sounds like a secret Jew to me.
That's
It
right.
is, as Adam said, it is what a secret Jew would say.
exactly. And so far, I just want to say, if you talk about secrets, you've got a secret political viewpoints going on each end here. And I'd love to know what they are. So
And Am Yisrael, the Jewish nation, needs you to not keep your genocidal Zionism under wraps. We need you to come out with it.
I know.
Yeah, be bold.
Be bold.
Again, make it count.
Exactly. If
This is
you're
the
going
time.
to be a fifth column, let people know where you stand. That's what I say. Because what else do columns do? You know what I'm saying? Well, text us and let us know. We'll give you a determination with more details. Moving on, I think we do need to take a quick little break, or should we go into Melanie Phillips first?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we do Melanie first?
Let's do a little bit of Melanie. Nora, are you in any way familiar with a British conservative commentator named Melanie Phillips?
No, but I can't wait.
Okay, we are going across the sea to sunny old England, and we're going to talk
Except
about
that
my
accent
wedding.
is really not going to work today because this woman sounds
Is
like
she so posh?
she's very posh.
Oh, she's
she
so
looks like Annie Lennox,
True.
but the polar opposite politics. And
Yes.
she sounds like Mary Poppins if Mary Poppins was talking about a spoonful of white phosphorus.
Excellent. Oh my
God. So, yes. So she obviously maybe doesn't sound exactly like what I did, but that's what she sounds like in my head. I have a, this thing. It's like some sort of brain macro that changes all British accents.
Unite the kingdom in your
Yes,
mind.
exactly. There's a one action to rule them all, isn't it?
One crown, one flag, one accent,
Hey, goose and Ireland.
one direction.
Yeah, one direction, yeah. Without all the Arabs in them, yeah. So
England is for the English.
English for the English, yeah. Me got soft teeth. So Melanie Phillips is a British conservative commentator, and she's a professional Hezbollah. She used to have a show on the Voice of Israel. I guess it was a broadcast network that was either a website or a radio station. Who the fuck knows? And she's sort of in the vein of a Tommy Robinson type of conservative. The
EDL guy, yeah.
yeah, he is. He and Melanie both do the thing where they constantly talk about Islamization and whatnot, and they talk about the Eurabia conspiracy theory. So this whole Islamophobic, through line in their politics, while simultaneously, of course, holding up Israel as some sort of like, outpost of Western civilization, that whole thing. So
Israel is defending the West now.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. Our first line of defense
Yeah.
is Israel. And the only difference, of course, is Melanie at least is Jewish, whereas Tommy Robinson is just pure shill. So she was at a conference that is called Rage Against the
I
Hate?
did see this.
Rage
That's
Against
her?
the Hate.
Oh my God.
Yes.
She's like full Nazi.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Which is, it's amazing that this conference is called Rage Against the Hate
Love it.
because she just gives this
She's so
Hitler-esque,
hateful. Shilling in the name of.
hell yeah.
Good Lord.
10 out of 10.
Oh, those who die are justified because they're Arabs. I'm the chosen white.
Wow.
Anyway, thank you.
That's really good.
Hey, I barely had to change any lyrics. So I'm going to play a few clips from this conference. Here we go.
Why is all this happening? Well, I think that the Palestine cause is absolutely central. The Palestine cause, as
clip that.
we all know,
Let's clip that.
Yeah, dude, that's going on the soundboard.
This is correct.
It is absolutely central. Thank you so much, Melanie. You are a comrade and a hero.
here is based on nothing other than the destruction of the Jewish state. But more than that, it is also based on stealing the Jews' own history in the land from them. But the Palestine
Imagine that.
cause
Oh my God.
Imagine that.
That would be terrible, wouldn't
This
it?
is-
That would be a crime.
This is some sort of war crime here. You're trying to steal our past, and we aren't going to let you get away with it.
Look how
Rasta, dem
indigenous to
tief
the Middle
Ayman
East this
Kike.
woman
Sorry,
is.
that's
Yeah.
terrible.
God.
I had to bring it back. You have to go back to if you're just start. You have to go back to the beginning of the episode to get what I
Yeah,
meant there.
you have to actually not have skipped the what's the
spin.
spin, you fucking asshole.
This fucking asshole in the comments who every time says, "Here's the timestamp to skip what's the spin."
Fuck that guy.
Mean.
But thank you for
Tief
watching.
Ayman segment.
Yes.
has become the cause of causes in the West, which of course is in the business of destroying its own core values which come from Judaism. No coincidence.
What?
In my view, the Palestine cause is a form of holy war, Islamic holy war, and it is a Trojan
I would have loved to
horse
have
that the
clipped it. Just the Palestine cause is a kind of holy war. Okay,
Fine.
great. You're down.
cool.
You're super down.
Islamization
Whoa,
of
I
the
wouldn't
West.
even put it that way.
Yeah. She's representing the satanic forces.
Yeah, it's a different type of holiness.
adopting the language and the moral inversion of the Palestine cause, the West has bought into the agenda for its own destruction at the hands of Islam. This is a death
She's
wish.
fucking like Saruman
Wow.
the White, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
now
yeah.
rise,
Yeah.
my fighting Uruk-hai.
Yeah, and also I
Israel Uruk-hai.
yeah, I'm Israel Uruk-hai. Yeah, I love the she's one of these like Western civilization type racist nationalists where it's just this constant bringing up the idea of this civilizational battle when it's literally people who are being genocided who have the keys to the fucking houses they were driven out of in 1948 and just being like clearly this is some sort of Islam thing wanting your house back.
Yeah.
I have to say, this is like the first time I'm looking a Hasbarist in the face who kind of looks like my mom.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, isn't that fucked?
Just that sort of nice, youthful looking older Jewish lady. Not that my mom's a lady, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that she's not a lady either.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just cut this, Adam. But you know what I'm saying? Like this, she looks just like a normal middle class.
Yeah, exactly.
White British Jewish.
She looks like my dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, this is how I felt watching Sarah Hurwitz when I was like looking at her. It's just like tonally, visually, aesthetically, I'm looking at someone who should be reasonable or at the very least intelligent enough to be able to see a video of herself saying these things and go like, oh, I wouldn't like that
God.
person.
Exactly. Wow, that sounds genocidal. Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
that's-
am I a genocidaire?
Is that me?
Is that me?
Could never be me.
No.
But she goes on to talk about Islam.
by the West. And if you have a death wish, you cannot fight a death cult, which is what the West is facing in the forces of Islam. It cannot fight it because it no longer knows what it is. The West no longer has the will to defend itself because it no longer knows what that
I'm sorry, but right
My
now it just
God.
cuts to you finally seeing
Yeah.
the logo of the conference, and it just says
In like army letters?
yeah, in army letters it says "Rage Against the Hate," and it's just like
I mean,
Well,
Shira
okay.
Hadin is one of the most like viciously
Right.
racist lawfare centers in
Yes.
the UK. Like
Yes.
they are famous for, I forget what her name is because I block these people out. as much as-
Natasha.
no, it's a different one. Shira
Okay.
Hadin. Anyway, there was like one of their top lawyers
Mm-hmm.
famously said like there is no such thing as a Palestinian,
Mm-hmm.
and they are. I mean, they are one of the. Yeah, they're just
Check out their objectives.
depraved.
Check out their objectives.
Brett Goldstein, is that her name?
Oh, maybe okay.
This is how they define their objectives: training the next generation of activist attorneys and legal advocates to fight for the rights of the worldwide Jewish community and Israel.
Yeah.
Working with intelligence and law enforcement agencies to target the terror groups, their leadership, and patrons. Combating the global effort by Israel's enemies to delegitimize, boycott, and wage lawfare against the Jewish state, and leading the private sector's war on terrorism.
Yeah. Super normal stuff. Super normal stuff.
Gotta love that private sector war
Yeah.
on terrorism army.
Rage against the
Just
hate.
absolute monsters.
Yes.
means, and insofar as it ever knew what it means, it has tried to destroy it by telling itself that the West is to be hated. This has created a vacuum into which has marched the Islamists to conquer the West because the West is paralyzed.
Yes. She goes on because I mean there is a few moments that are insane here.
That was kind of ableist at the end there, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like
Don't shame us for
Islam,
being
as
paralyzed.
well as being Islamophobic.
Nazis hate famously do not like differently abled people.
That's very true. That's
So-
very true. So it kind of fits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's just a brief little Nazi thing.
Germany for the Germans.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Just like you got to love your blood, but also your soil.
Yeah.
You know, why is this so hard to understand? You know, all I'm saying is we need 1,000-year reign.
Diaspora Jews need also to realize you are not just Americans with Judaism added on. In Britain, they're not just British Jews with Judaism added on. They are part of the British people you are part of the Jewish
Oops! Oh,
Oops.
blimey, it's a right kerfuffle there. Me had a gaff. Are you
Paging
having a
Freud.
gaff?
Paging Freud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
people and the Jewish nation, and that should come first. First and foremost, you are Jews. Everything else is secondary.
Yeah. So
So you agree with the KKK?
That's exactly what.
So you
yes,
agree with Nick
yes,
Quintus?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
we cannot be trusted to be
No.
true
it's a
citizens.
dual loyalty thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's absolutely insane, and it's like it's coming from this line of thinking. It's so funny in Britain, like the intense conservative push that we've seen for decades now at this point of we must resist Arabization and Islamatization of the UK or of Europe in general. It's literally just a redoing of the white great replacement theory. It's
Yes.
just a reimagining of the Zog, Zionist occupied government conspiracy. Like we're talking about like white American neo-Nazi conspiracy theories that have been around for a long time,
Yeah.
but with a different master. That's the thing, is like
Yeah.
instead of it being, like they both talk about the globalists, but one in America, when they talk about the people, allowing for the immigration, migrants from Latin America and from places that are deemed not worthy to be Americans. They say it's the globalist class that are the Jews. That's essentially what they're saying. They're saying the Jews. There, instead of the Jews, it's the French, which I fucking love. Where they're like, it's the EU specifically led by the French. They believe that the French is in some sort of like Islamo partnership. I don't know.
Yeah, the French famously very welcoming of Muslims and Arabs and North Africans.
Look,
I mean, more
the
so,
French-
I guess.
very
than-
much.
The
Yeah.
French
Germans?
historically complicit in what was it, the second or third plague?
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Go.
Yeah, Jews of a different stripe.
Look it up or see the end of Magnolia if you want to know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes. Are you talking about the frogs falling
That's
from
what I'm
the
talking about,
sky?
the frogs falling from the sky.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I really love it. And I was doing some research into this very specific, like white European conspiracy theory about, Eurabia. And it was a conspiracy theory created by a woman named Bat Yeor, or at least that was her pen name. But I think her real name is Giselle Orabi. She's a Jewish Egyptian Swiss Zionist who also popularized the whole like Dimi Hezbollah, the idea of
Being second-class citizens.
being
in
a
Arab
second-class
countries.
citizen, this kind of like revisionist history of Jews in the MENA as being like no, they weren't just living together in the same society. They were being treated the way Nazis treated the Jews.
But even in the
Such
most
bullshit.
even in the most inflammatory version of the Dhimmi thing, my understanding, didn't it mean a kind of somewhat protected second-class citizenship?
I mean,
you weren't a part of every aspect of society, but you were taught. Like, there's been plenty of places in the world where, like, there are minority groups who have a certain status that isn't the same as being pogromed all the time,
Right.
But it's a
Oppressed.
certain place in a
Right.
hierarchy that's governed by a larger religion or whatever. But it's like they try to make it sound as if, well, welcome to your new gulag, Jews.
right. Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. It's
I
like,
don't know enough about it to really weigh in substantively.
and I mean, what's
but-
funny about it, the whole thing to me is that like the person who created this conspiracy theory that is just Zog theory, but Jews are good, is the person who essentially was able to make like the whole Dhimmi revisionist history of Jews in the MENA it's like that's now the line when it comes to that. Like it is a rewriting of the relationship to the point where people naturally believe that Arabs and Jews have always hated each other.
Right.
As
Yeah,
if-
it's the 1,000-year conflict of this is clash of
Yes.
civilizations, all of this.
and it's just straight up. It's
It's
just
straight bullshit.
It's straight bullshit created by a Nazi. So it's like we have
Yes.
this Melanie Phillips who believes that she is doing Nazism on behalf of Israel, and she is.
And in this very paternalistic way, like,
Oh, yeah.
to the American Jews, like, blah, you're Jewish first and American second.
Yeah. Remember, you could never be one of them. Yeah. People will always be able to tell by your Jewish features, isn't there? Hello.
Matt, I'll do love and respect to your uniform British accent, but I would love to get Nora. I mean, if you could be our go-to posh English woman, because it's very good.
I could try my best.
I'm basically doing
All
the
the
same
Jews,
thing.
the Jews are the most beautiful and handsome and nice and civilized. Not like those filthy other people, everyone else. Oh, even the English. The
just
English
dreadful,
are incomparable. Dreadful.
Dreadful.
Dread my
We don't
people.
like them, do we, Ferris?
My people came from Latvia and Poland, and that's why we have an exceptional entitlement to the land of North Africa and West Asia. Because look at us, we burn so easily
don't like
under
the
the
sun.
West Asian sun, and And we have the most population of melanoma patients in West Asia because we are so indigenous to that land.
I feel like I'm watching an episode of...
She had freckles. She had cancer.
I feel like I'm watching a two-person Downton Abbey with the upstairs and the downstairs. the count, the Dowager Countess, and the scullery maid.
Yeah, no, I'm Mrs. Patmore. I'm the cook, yeah. Me got red hair and freckles in my face. Anyway, so she's
Oh my God.
she's a psychopath. I have one more video clip to play from her, then we got to go to break. But this is her. I mean, without further ado, I'm just going to play it. Just listen to this.
Now
shit.
there is a spirit abroad in Israel, which people have not seen before, a spirit among younger people. They will not be diverted from defeating the enemy. It is no longer enough simply to what was called mowing the lawn, to keep the enemy down on the basis that they're always going to be there and we're always going to fight them. No, enough. We will now fight to defeat the enemy because we know that only defeating the enemy is what we should be doing. And there's been a realization. There's been a realization that this idea of mowing the lawn, this idea of not going too far, this idea of doing what the world expects us to do, that is galut mentality. That is diaspora mentality. That is trying to please and appease the world. But the world we now understand from what we've been living through and are still living through. The world cannot be appeased. It has to be fought. It has been described, and I think most wonderfully, as a move from Talmud to Tanakh, by which I mean this. The Talmud, that collection of rabbinical ordinances, which justifiably can be said to have kept the Jewish people alive since their exile from the land of Israel, is very much a diaspora mentality. It is a mentality which looks inward, which says we are up against a world which hates us.
Which debates things, which has conversations, which asks questions.
No.
I know.
That is she is like true fascist.
Yes.
Like it wasn't enough to have these these assaults on Gaza every few years, which, the mowing the lawn, that's where that comes from. And to enact a 17-year, now 20-year siege on Gaza to slowly starve people. No, we need to go full on, slaughter everybody. And that includes the West Bank and people inside 48, historic Palestine, also known as Israel. And in the same breath, she's talking about how, and this is like part of the Zionist ideology, right? Anyone who doesn't believe that Palestinians should be genocided for the sake of this fantasy of a so-called Jewish state, you're weak. You're the Hitler should have killed you.
Yep.
And we won't let it happen again. You're a house Jew, right? That is diaspora mentality. First of all, what the hell does diaspora mean? Jews are Jews wherever we are, right?
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
The whole this Zionist idea of anyone who's not in this fake, artificial, genocidal rape state colony is somehow diaspora, wayward or something, like we're still lost in the desert.
Galut, diaspora, house Jews,
these house Jews,
these schmucking and jiving, step and quetch it.
Oh my God, step and quetch it.
Wow.
My God.
I know.
It's incredible.
She wants to move from Talmud to Tanakh, right? So Tanakh would be just the fucking law. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just the Torah.
Yeah.
No interpretation.
That's it.
Questioning.
Yeah.
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 No.
She clarifies.
Jewish people of antiquity fighting real battles, killing real people in defense of their nation and their people and their faith. And that is what has to be done. And I see that what we are seeing now in this war that has been fought is the resurrection of the Tanakh Jew, the return of the heroic Davidic warrior.
And I want my scalps.
Christ. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to have my scalps.
Like how, I mean, you know, if we're talking about what anti-Semitism looks like, that's what anti-Semitism looks like.
I know.
I believe in my heart of hearts that whatever anti-Semitism is right now, as people think they imagine it, is not real.
Yes.
Because it is not. It's not backed institutionally. There are no laws on the books. There's no jobs that Jews can't get. There's no houses that Jews can't buy because they're Jews. It's not a thing. It's just a way. It's a weapon to be used against people wanting equal rights.
Yes.
In
We
their
have
own
someone here who agrees
land.
with you.
Exactly.
There's no anti-Semitism in the United States.
That's right.
Exactly. Norm, for all of his many faults, you know, he is someone who has pointed this out continuously because it's a fact.
Yeah.
And then you have these total genocidal freaks like this English,
Melanie,
you know, Downton Abbey dowager, I don't even know, who's saying really bigoted shit about Jews who don't support a genocide in the name of Judaism. So she needs to be, you know, I think she needs to be sent to a gulag,
Oh yeah.
re-education camp,
That's right.
and we'll see how that works out, and then we can take it from there. If she doesn't want to live amongst all the other people of this world, she can go break rocks somewhere in some labor camp or throw herself off a cliff.
Or
I mean,
at
her
least have the
choice.
courage of your convictions.
At
Go live in a
least.
fucking settlement.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yes.
We have an organization that can help you with that,
Oh, no.
which we're going to get to right after the break.
That's right. It is break time. So everyone, please stick around. We will be right back. And we're back. This is Badass Bar, the world's most moral podcast here, of course, with Nora Barrows Friedman. How you doing, Nora?
I'm fine.
Good.
Got a little toasty there. That was good.
Oh,
Today
no.
it's the world's most noral podcast.
Yeah, I like it. So Adam has let me know that he has better Matleab Donkey AI, and he wanted me to know this, that he made this in the time that it took for me to just talk about the previous segment. So here's this video here. Yep. Adam has made this. This is incredible.
I like the earphones and the watch.
Yeah, I like
details.
one earphone in that goes straight to my heart. So Adam, you couldn't make it fucking me? Come on, man.
Also,
Matt
that looks
Lee-
like a pony. That
opportunity.
looks like a pony.
Was that a pony? Pony, donkey?
Matt's not a pony fucker.
Either way, someone Mr. Hands me. Am I right out there? The people who understand that bit are laughing. So, moving on, we need to talk.
And the painted ponies go up and down when Matt's on the carousel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sexually. Daniel, you
man.
live in New York.
I don't know how I do.
I don't know how you do.
I don't know how I make it.
As a dhimmi, as a second-class citizen in the Mamdanian Empire, obviously,
I take the Demi train every day.
yeah, that's right. And so you're there, and of course, anti-Semitism out of control in New York. I mean, you can't turn a corner without someone doing an anti-Semitism at you. Can you tell me a little bit about this hullabaloo that happened at a some sort of Park East synagogue?
Yeah, the Park East Synagogue on the Upper East Side, venerable institution, was the site of a horrific gathering of jihadist, anti-Semitic protesters, or at least that's what I heard.
Was Melanie Phillips there? Is that what?
Yeah, they were inside the temple. I like that. It's a gathering of like just total religious fascist
Fanatics. Yeah.
fanatics inside the temple.
Who want Jews out?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
literally,
exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
here was one of the reactions to the. So of course, again, whenever you hear a bunch of an anti-Semitic mob gathered outside a synagogue,
Yes.
outside a Jewish place of worship, You see they're targeting Jews. You know there was something going on in there that wasn't a fucking minyan.
Yes, yes.
It wasn't a bris. It wasn't a chuppah ceremony. It wasn't Yom Kippur.
Mm-hmm.
It was some kind of organization with some kind of move to Israel or support the Israeli army. In other words, something that's completely a political
Yes.
event, right? And they want to act like it's not political.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there was a protest. The group is called Nefesh B'Nefesh, which actually, this is true, translated literally means soul to soul.
Hell yeah.
Back to life, back to the synagogue.
Beautiful. Oh, wow.
So people converged, of course, as they always do, because Nefesh B'Nefesh is a group that helps people make aliyah. Okay?
Yep.
Aliyah being the Zionist word for moving to Zionist-occupied Palestine, or if you even want to call it Israel, call it Israel. However, here's a map from Nefesh B'Nefesh's own site of some of the places where they're helping Jews all over the world move to. Now, what do you notice?
Interesting.
You know, I notice a sort of a dotted line
Yeah, look
across
at that dotted line. What does
screen.
that mean?
Yeah, what is a dotted line?
Those are just ants.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
Why is there an anthill that's going through? It seems like it covers some of Jerusalem, but not all of it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all. For those of you who can't read sarcasm, these are all locations in the West Bank.
That's right. And Jordan Steinberg here posted it and said the Nefesh B'Nefesh website advertises illegal settlements as quaint little communities for American Jews to move to, while settler terrorism against Palestinians in the West Bank is increasing every day. And a reminder that the settlements are ipso facto, every single one of them, illegal under international law.
And while we're there, we can also say that every Israeli town is a settlement. That the cities and the towns inside historic occupied Palestine, so inside what's considered to be Israel, are also settlements and are also part of the settler colonial landscape where Palestinians cannot go back to simply because they are not Jews.
They are. And on that basis alone, Americans whose tax dollars and whose politicians are completely in service of protecting that regime have every right to oppose it. Yeah. But it's the over the green line thing that takes it an extra step. Because at the very least, you could say, that's true, but New York is a settlement too. Vancouver is a settlement. San Francisco is a settlement. We're all living on stolen land. It's a question of what has international recognition as opposed to, because especially when Mamdani is concerned, and he did weigh in, and we'll look at his statement, if you're going to be speaking about the law, well, then international law governs. And currently under international law, there is some legitimacy to the Israeli state.
Yeah.
Let's before we get there, let's look at Nefesh B'Nefesh's own description of themselves and sort of some of their programs. Aliyah, make it home. And you see a family of hopeful white Jews with signs that say Am Yisrael Chai, Aliyah 2024, not just a dream. Right?
Yeah, if you will it, it's not just a dream. It's a nice little militarized settlement in somewhere else.
It's a war crime.
That's right.
If you will it, it's a war crime.
It's not just a dream.
Yeah.
Undeterred, Aliyah, undeterred. We are so inspired by people's unwavering dedication to making their Aliyah dreams a reality, no matter the circumstance.
No matter.
No matter the circumstance.
No matter who's living there now.
Yeah.
No matter what
Don't
side of the
ask
green line it's
any
on.
question.
Your circumstance, the people's land circumstance, legal circumstance, pretty much
Moral
by any means.
circumstance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Join the thousands of North Americans moving forward with their Aliyah plans. Let us help you make it home. So what they're doing is they're hooking people up with services, healthcare, communities, education, finances, and all that. Okay. Well, so again, we don't have to like it. We don't have to like it, but a group helping people move to another country on the surface of it, okay.
Yeah.
But then you see this. The International Lone Soldiers Program. Lone Soldiers Program assists and supports the brave individuals who are required to serve in the IDF after their aliyah. Our multinational team assists 3,500 lone soldiers annually from over 70 countries. So what they're helping these new olim, which is people committing aliyah, I'll say.
That's good. That's good.
Do is fully integrate into the totality of Israeli society, which of course means participating in the genocidal IOF, and of course means settling the West Bank. There is no more separation. There is no more moving to Israel without being a part of the settlement regime that is terrorizing Palestinians in the occupied Palestinian territories. So this is where Nora's point sort of comes home to roost. Whatever you think about the legitimacy of towns within Israel proper, which were of course all based on decimated, demolished, massacred Arab villages, the entire enterprise now, the entire settlement enterprise is one total thing from the river to the sea.
Yes.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
And especially in a time when people are up in arms, rightfully, about a genocide being committed by that country. Of course, you host a group like this at your synagogue, you're going to get some pushback. You know this.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Here's what the ADL had to say about it. Jewish New Yorkers gathered last night at Park East Synagogue. They just gathered. They just decided to gather.
Yeah.
They were greeted with a dangerous, hateful, and anti-Semitic
Did you ever
mob.
see the movie Conspiracy? It's a movie about the Eichmann and all of the Nazi generals together planning the final solution.
Yeah.
It's a movie about a gathering.
Yeah, it was just a gathering. They were
You
just
know?
hanging out.
They're just having some
normal,
just a chiller, a kicker, if you will.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Get together, kicking around some ideas.
Yeah.
Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul spoke out forcefully on the incident. Mayor-elect Mamdani did not. Here's what Mamdani said. The mayor-elect has discouraged the language used at last night's protest and will continue to do so. Okay, so he's continuing to keep daylight between him and phrases like globalize the Intifada, so on and so forth. We understand why we can take issue with it. He believes every New Yorker should be free to enter a house of worship without intimidation, and that these sacred spaces should not be used to promote activities in violation of international law.
Fair.
Again, a very canny approach, right? Where he'll like grant the premise that okay, if the issue was people being permitted or not permitted or barred from entering houses of worship, sure, I agree with that. And I also think that houses of worship shouldn't be turned into recruitment villages
Right.
for illegal
For war
settlements.
crimes, yeah.
For war crimes.
Yes,
Right?
they are not. They're not being fucking protested for fucking going to Shabbat services.
Yeah,
you know,
no.
like this idea that people are being protested in front of synagogues because people were simply exercising their
Jews.
religious freedoms. It's like, no, your religious freedom here is not the issue. It's the idea that you're hosting a fucking, let's move and do a war crime fucking, organization.
That's exactly right. So there was just a glut of reaction to this. I mean, I went through it all. I mean, Adam did yeoman's work he did yeoman's work in gathering all this shit. I culled it down to like about 10% of what was in the original folder. I'll just go through a few of them. We have a couple of videos to play as well. Here's one of my favorites because it's Elizabeth Pipko retweeting Rabbi Poopko.
Oh shit!
We got a Pipko Poopko collab. Pip Poop. This is my synagogue. My family has proudly belonged to Park East Synagogue since their arrival in America in the 1970s, ironically, fleeing from anti-Semitism and scenes just like this. No, there were no scenes just like this anywhere else.
No.
Sorry. What are we?
Where was Pipko's family fleeing from?
In the 1970s? I don't know. I mean, listen, wherever you were in Eastern Europe, perhaps there was anti-Semitic scenes that you were fleeing from. They weren't. I like the idea that it's like just like this. People outside of synagogues telling us not to do a war crime.
Right.
Exactly. Here's one of my favorite sort of tropes that's popping up. It's a very Beitar coded thing. Are you scared of what's coming yet? After the abhorrent mob at Park East Synagogue chanting death to the IDF, globalize the Intifada, and resistance is glorious, Zoran Mamdani disgustingly condemned the event at the synagogue. He stated that synagogues, quote, should not be used to promote activities in violation of international law. You mean they should? Jeffrey Lax? Jeffrey Lax is a professor of law at CUNY, by the way.
That's crazy.
CUNY, like Sheepshead Bay, way the fuck out in Brooklyn. Jews, get the hell out of NYC. There will be pogroms.
My God.
Juden raus. All right? And I love this fucking Jews get out thing so much that I made this.
Get out right
My God.
That said, get out
God.
Yes.
in Hebrew letters, and that was Faith No More.
I love Jews. Get out. In fact,
Get out.
I have this wonderful organization that will help you with that. If only they would let us convene.
Get out and do crimes.
Yeah. God.
It's truly unbelievable. So there's a lot more we could show. This one's kind of funny just because who it is and how they started. This is Betar. Explain it to me like I'm 3 years old. Oh, I'd love to, Betar. Jihadis attack Park East Synagogue. Jews complain about NYPD and how unsafe NYC is. The mayor is Eric Adams. Why are Jewish groups honoring him like combat anti-Semitism if Jews aren't safe? The thing I love about Betar is they'll take their best friends and call them fake friends and be like, the only ones who can protect Jews are us who have 100 followers.
Are we secretly running that account? Like sometimes I'll read their things and I'll be like, I would write this ironically as a joke. It serves our purpose.
We are running their helpline, Betar Help.
We are. That's true. That's true. That's true. I love the way Betar continually posts things that I'm like, you know, other than the, super racism at the end, facts.
Exactly.
The conclusions they draw are genocidal.
Yeah.
But everything up until then is like, you're right, Eric Adams, the idea that you're blaming Mamdani is hilarious because Eric Adams is the mayor.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. So, Matt, will you please play for us the video? You want to start with Hen Mazig or Dr. Logan Lefke?
Oh, I mean, both are wonderful. You choose.
Levkov. Let's start with Hen. Let's warm up, and then we'll go to Logan Levkov, which is incredible.
All right, here's Hen Mazig.
NYC Mayor Zohar Mamdani's groupies suddenly so obsessed with lying about one Jewish organization for 48 hours straight. Nefesh B'Nefesh helps Jews move to Israel. Full stop. They don't buy land. They don't sell land. They don't touch real estate.
I'm sorry. I love the Chat GPT. If you're listening, he has inserted Chat GPT into his video in which he asks, what does Nefesh B'Nefesh do? And this is the answer that the Chat GPT robot is going to give him is the one he's going to use. That's
on brand.
It's
him.
very on brand.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, I think technically he's right. This is not one of the real estate organizations. The reason he needs to say that, though, is that many of these synagogue events have been, like in Clifton, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right? Where a brave Jewish man, I forget his name, stood up and said, don't fucking do this here in my community.
Yeah.
You know? So there are some organizations that are more like, we are selling you a condo here. This is more like, logistical support.
Yeah, this is a middleman that does the war crime. I'm sorry.
We just love filing papers.
Yes. I mean, the idea that it's like, well, technically, I have nothing to do with this giant cocaine cartel. I'm just someone who knows a guy.
The vehicle. Who
knows another guy.
Everything is clean.
Yes, everything is clean. It's like there's a reason there's RICO laws, my man.
These guys are the Greek in the
world. Just a simple money launderer.
I'm just a simple money launderer, exactly.
God.
people fill out forms, register their kids to school, get health care, and rebuild their lives.
Where are
They
the
help
schools? Tell me where the schools are.
Where are the schools?
I love
Ukrainian
it.
Jews escape the war. They helped Ethiopian Jews escape a war in their land. Nefesh
And then
B'Nefesh just
sterilize
helps
them.
Yeah.
Jews that need to escape their countries and move to Israel. So why the fixation?
Jews that
Because
need to escape their countries. That's why they're in the Upper East Side
Yes.
at a synagogue. They've come to where the real need is. And what's hilarious about all of this, of course, is that it's the perfect anti-Semitism generating cycle that they need. Like I've often said, Israel runs on anti-Semitism. It's its fuel. It's also its effluent. It's what it puts out. It gets high on its own supply.
Yeah.
So these organizations host these events in broad daylight. They get protested, which shows you how dangerous New York is, which all the more necessitates organizations like this. If only people could access them, but for these meddling protesters.
That's
Right. Exactly. And I mean, and it seems pretty clearly to be, it serves its own purpose every time. I mean, it's just like, we're going to, publicly hold these events that are 100%. I mean, like, I'm not going to say all of them were meant to generate that sort of outrage, but the outrage for them is only proof positive that they're right, that they do need to move. Because look, they're protesting you coming here when you're just trying to move back to the land that God promised you. You're simply doing what man's law says is war crime, but God's law says is
right. I mean, God is the original real estate agent here.
100%.
So
exactly. You've got the
who are
contract
you
set in stone.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Irani's fans needed a spin to divert attention from the fact that protesters stood outside a synagogue and yelled effing Jewish pricks at Jews going to an event hosted
Hold on. I haven't heard that chant before.
What is that? What did he
Effing
say?
Jewish-
Effing Jewish pricks. Effing
my God.
Jewish Brits.
pricks. That doesn't
I love
really,
that. That's going to be a new one for me. I'm going to start
Yeah.
chanting that everywhere.
Exactly.
Thank you, Hen.
I love, I do love the idea that you can just kind of just say things that
You can
aren't
say whatever
chants.
you want.
You can just say whatever you want. It's fine. Like if effing Jewish pricks was a chant that went around, that would be the first time I would ever be like, hey, I'm going to tone police right here. I think I would finally get on my lib cap and be like, guys, let's not do the effing Jew. No one is doing that.
No. And of course, like people like Hen Mazig and his like thuggish settler friends are the ones who are literally going around Jerusalem saying death to the Arabs.
Yes.
But what's fun
And
about
may
Chen
your
Mazig-
village burn.
But what's
Yes.
fun about Chen Mazig is he's one of these liberal Zionist guys who pretends to be anti-settlement.
Exactly.
But here he is defending to the death
No.
the
Yes.
necessity of an organization sending people to those same settlements that he'll then cluck his tongue at and say this is a real problem that Israeli society needs to deal with. Everyone else butt out.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just a
Nefesh-
small bean. It's the
Yeah.
small bean settlement organizations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Small beans.
We just want to live in a tiny
just-
gated community
just
covered with
tiny.
M16 file.
Yeah.
Steal all the water
It was
for us.
promised to us.
Yeah,
I'm from Poland.
I just want to shoot at the water tanks on top of people's houses.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
fun
it's
for me.
fun to do. I don't get why I
And
can't
if you
have
tell
fun.
me I can't, it's gonna hurt my feelings.
Ima, I can't sleep. Well, have you tried counting sheep? That's a great idea. Let's go down to the Palestinian well where Abba slaughtered all of the lambs. We can count the dead sheep carcasses.
Oh,
I'm not sure if there's anything more worth watching in this video.
I mean,
The other one is the real fucking banger.
all right. This is from.
This is like, I had to pick from about, like, ladies, fellas, take a break. Fellas, take a break. Ladies, pull up a seat.
Oh no.
Oh shit! Obama's talking.
Obama. How did he get
Ladies,
in here?
pull up your pants.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear. I had to sort through, and I don't think Adam was cherry picking. like there were a lot of videos of like these women influencers, Eve Barlow, Lizzie Savetsky,
all the best.
fucking Brooke
Cream of the crop.
Goldstein, whatever. Just
Yeah.
some of the best of the best. And they just excel at this like, hey, you guys, can you believe this? Sort of Stitch incoming kind of like
Talking
whatever.
to 12 people who
Oh,
agree
God.
with you.
Yeah, that's right. So, but this is the one that really fucking got me.
Yeah, this is. I don't know if we've played
No, she is
Dr. Levkov on this pod yet.
The blondest
Yes.
Jewish husbarist we've ever played.
Yes, here's Dr. Logan Levkov.
I have been very outspoken about Mamdani, and today is going to be no different.
All right, hold on. Can
is she
can we just
doing
get
with
a
her
little
shoulders?
Can we? Well, what
the
has she got?
IDF
What has she got on her
sweatshirt.
shoulders?
Yeah.
Adios sweatshirt. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's doing like the pick me girl thing.
Yeah,
Like, oh my God,
yeah.
my hair. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm doing this thing.
She's going for like babes of IDF
Yes,
aesthetic
she is.
while being, let's be honest, 47.
Pick me.
That's
I'm
fine.
47.
That's okay to be 47. What I'm saying is that the
Yeah. It's not going to
aesthetic-
happen.
Yeah, you are not.
lady.
You're not gun waifu. You
No.
know.
Pick me is what her head lice said.
Exactly.
24 hours to compose my thoughts about the horrific event that happened outside of Park East Synagogue the other night. So, brace yourself. Are you fucking surprised, really surprised, that our newly elected mayor, instead of condemning the bloodthirsty mob of Jew-hating jihadists outside a synagogue, would instead condemn the sacred space for hosting an event that violated international law? First of all, hosting Nefesh B'Nefesh, this amazing organization that helps families navigate the Aliyah process, is not a violation of international law. And if our newly elected mayor had shown up in history class instead of, well, creating baby jihadist group SJP at his college, maybe he would have learned about UN resolutions 181 and 273. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, hold on a
The
second.
ones
Are we
that
about to-
Israel violates every day
Are we
for
about to-
decades.
Can we
we're
get a
about to
history
talk about
lesson from-
UN resolutions?
Wow.
So, Nora, will you explain to us how introducing UN resolutions 181 and 273 into this conversation justifies the presence of Nefesh B'Nefesh and their mission? Like, what the fuck does
I
she
really
think this has
don't
to do with anything?
understand. I don't understand.
181
this
was
at
the
all.
one that created, or that was the partition resolution.
That was the partition,
and
and
273 invited Israel into the community of nations in 1949.
yeah. Yeah, but conveniently, she's also. I mean, if you want to go by UN resolutions here, how about UN Resolution 194, which guarantees Palestinians the right to return to their homes that this fucking bitch thinks that she's entitled to?
Yes.
Or Resolution 242, the one that declares that that the West Bank and Gaza are occupied and should be not occupied anymore. How about the ICJ resolution in 2006 that declared that Israel's wall in the occupied West Bank is illegal and must be dismantled? That's almost that's 20 years old. Was it 2000? No, it was 2004. What
That's
the
right.
hell?
The World
It's
Court.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 21 years old, that one.
Unanimous.
It's all
too.
just
Even
cherry
the Zionist
picking.
U.S. judge voted that it was illegal.
That's right. That's right. Or what about the UN resolution that was eventually struck? I can't remember what it was, but it just had its anniversary a few days ago. It was the one that in 1979, I think, the UN declared Zionism as an ideology of racism, and that one, was
They got rid of that
quickly
one.
struck from the record.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this whole cherry picking of international. I mean, the thing is, right now, international law is meaningless, obviously,
Correct.
Yeah.
because the genocide has been ongoing. No, not one of the declarations of either the World Court or the ICC have been followed through with. The genocide, or the people who are in charge of the genocide, keep getting rewarded for it. So this whole thing, yes, it is still a war crime. Yes, the resolutions that were passed in the UN, like 242 and all of these ones, forbid the Israelis, the occupying force, from transferring its own civilians into occupied territory, which is what these settlement colonies are.
And neither of the resolutions she just cited bear upon that.
No, nothing.
Whatsoever.
No.
We're talking about,
No.
again.
It's stupid. It's
like,
so stupid.
I agree with you about the hollowness and in many ways, the obsolescence of international law at this point. And for someone like Mamdani, it's a useful legal rhetorical tool to be able to say, if we're going to have a standard,
right,
even if it's an outdated standard, on this territory, you're not going to be advertising and facilitating the migration of Americans or anyone else into occupied lands, and we can define them as on the other side of this green line.
That's right. But the whole world has also like agreed.
Yes.
The whole world has agreed that Israel is a genocidal apartheid entity that must be stopped. And it's just these like handfuls of, capitulated countries at the UN that have really gone against their own values and national interests. But that's neither here nor there.
It is so funny to watch when they decide to trot out, international law.
Yeah.
Like,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Random points where they just go, have you ever heard of the ICJ? And it's like, yes, very much so. When's the last time Netanyahu cabinet ministers have visited The Hague? You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Our mayor-elect, if he'd spent a little more time studying history rather than creating baby jihadist groups, he'd know about something called the Balfour Declaration.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, let's see the rest of her video.
Yeah. Also, is 181 the OG creation of the partition plan? Is that 181? Because I love the idea of like a plan that it's in and of itself did not really come to fruition because of the fucking the continued occupation that happened.
Yeah, this was the November 29th, 1947 resolution.
Right.
It recommended the partition of mandatory Palestine.
Right. And if you look at that map,
outright said we're never going to honor that in the end.
That's right. And we want it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you look at that map, it's like that's not the map that you're actually living in right now.
Yes, here we are with an ignoramus in Gracie Mansion, or about to enter Gracie Mansion. I also wonder, though, does he apply that same standard to mosques or just synagogues?
Yeah, this is great.
All those mosques.
That's a gotcha.
All those mosques that are hosting events to help people move to I don't know what.
Yeah, to join
land.
Boko Haram.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ.
You know how you can't, man, every time I pass a mosque, it's another fucking Boko Haram fucking orientation meeting where we all get to join. Oh my God.
I wonder. Also, that mob was made up of lots of Columbia students. So as we talk about college, parents of Columbia students, I think you should do something. You should check your kid's bedroom. Check for any leftover keffiyehs or...
Leftover? What do you think, you ate half of it?
What is wrong with this woman?
Yeah.
What did you check?
Did
Pally
your kids
flags.
order the hummus?
Yeah, exactly. And what did they call it? If they said Mediterranean, they're on thin ice.
If they said anything other than hummus.
Hummus.
Really highlighted copies of the Quran and do some fucking parenting.
Do people highlight their
And do some
copies of the
fucking
Quran?
parenting, she said.
That's.
Can you imagine this woman with kids?
I know.
Yikes.
I mean,
Also, who
half
uses
of
a highlighter in the Quran? Isn't
Yeah.
that kind of sacrilegious?
I feel like that is. See, this is some people who I don't know whether or not she is a Jewish Zionist influencer or evangelical influencer, because
I'm pretty sure she's Jewish.
Well, it's confusing to me then because it's like, wait,
Because she looks like a shiksa.
well, first of all,
Genocides prefer blondes.
well, yes, but beyond
Come on,
that,
nothing, Matt? Nothing?
oh, that's good. That was good. But also like the highlighting, you're like,
Yeah.
the only time I've ever heard about highlighting passages, this could be a thing. I don't fucking know. People highlighting their Torahs, sure. But isn't that just for when Jesus talks? They're like, well, we highlight in red in the New Testament when Jesus talks, so you can see his words. I assume that's. I'm just saying.
No idea. I have no idea.
This feels secular to me.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
A little bit.
It's not too late. And to you as Jews who elected
That's us.
Oh my God.
Hello.
That's us.
Hi, present.
I didn't
What are you
elect
gonna say?
anyone.
this, how you feeling today?
Good.
Are you happy?
Yep.
Yeah.
I could promise you that bloodthirsty mob will never consider you good.
Blood.
Oh my God.
We're in the bloodthirsty mob,
Oh my God.
lady.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
They like us. They like us a lot.
They do.
Yeah, we're kind of the idea of like they're never going to accept you, and it's just like
Right.
there are, I don't know, shit ton of Jews here, lady.
Yep.
You're locked in an attic right now.
Yeah, where
because
is she even? Like a
'cause
pantry?
You saw a fucking weather.
The Diary of Anne Crank.
This person's hiding out from a fucking poster of the Weather Channel.
Amazing.
Oh, that is great.
You're going to need the ones like me, the bad Jews,
Me
to fight
too?
for you.
Ew. Does she have
Remember
an
that.
OnlyFans? Probably. I don't want to slut
Who knows?
shame, but
and listen, I don't. If
I'll
you are
shame.
someone, it is okay to have an OnlyFans.
It's fine. That's
sex
totally
work is
fine.
work, but she does look like she films. Like that's where she films all of her content.
yeah.
So Dr. Lefkoff, if you got feet pics,
She's a doctor.
post them on. Man,
I'm
I don't
sure
know.
that- I'm sure
she
the
puts
toenails are
doctor.
blue and white.
Oh, 100%. Ugh. Sorry, it just made me sick a little bit. Yeah, man, I mean, listen, we're going to see more of these things. And there was a time in my own, like, kind of, I don't know, liberal Zionist evolution where I was more of an optics guy. Like, I remember when I was younger thinking, one of the things was like, we need to stop using the word Zionist because there's too many definitions. This is me as a...
Oh, right.
It's
Okay, you're on your journey.
I was on my journey. No, but I remember also being like, I would have seen something like, oh, no, people are protesting outside of synagogues. No, it's the optics are bad. I understand, but the optics are bad.
Yeah.
And I've never been so like proud to be so wrong about that when because you look at things like this, and the fact is that we have now elected a mayor who fully understands the Hezbollah that's around this type of event and is like going to play the game of be like, first of all, I wouldn't chant death to the IDF in front of anywhere, because he's someone who's not going to say death. Yeah. He can say that. I'm fine with that. And then immediately going into also, I hope no one's doing war crimes in their places of worship.
That's a problem.
That's a
Maybe
problem.
We need to
It's
address that.
worship with an O, not an A. So please, maybe don't do that. And the fact is that like that kind of, bad optics thing has always been sort of a trap, for people to be like, well, if we protest this, we look like anti-Semites. And now we are reached a point where that is seen
Maybe
for the
we shouldn't
bullshit.
give a shit anymore. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like it's this focus on optics I think is like
because they're not focused on the optics that we've seen for the last 2 years.
Yes.
Have been babies with no brain in their skull anymore because the Israelis dropped bombs that blew it up. Right?
Yes.
Those are the optics of children dying of starvation, of homes and every single hospital multiple times being blown up. Those are the optics. And people want to like crow and get all up in their feelings about synagogues being protested. That's where we need to, and we've talked about this before, as anti-Zionists, and as specifically Jews who oppose genocide and don't want these like, freaks talking for us and at us, then we need to be in the places where this indoctrination is happening and disrupt it. And those places are synagogues.
Yes.
They are community centers. They are our families.
Yes.
That's where Zionism needs to be disrupted. And so this is like, we're trying to do the thing to, some people say preserve Judaism. I don't give a shit about where Judaism goes after this. I think that genocide is now a part of Jewish history.
Yeah.
And we have to own that. And if we don't want that to continue, then we have to disrupt the root cause of it, which is Zionism.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
if we want to be able to exist in a world where it doesn't feel absolutely and totally gross to be Jewish, and I'd rather live in that world.
That's right. Absolutely.
We need to speak out about the not just encroaching, but the prevailing evil in our mainstream communities. I don't want to get onto this topic because we're soon to wrap up. But when it comes to optics, just have to appreciate Donald Trump for a second for saying to Zoran, "Don't worry about the optics. Just say it."
Wasn't that amazing?
Just call me a fascist. It's
hilarious.
fine. Just call it genocide. I've been called worse. Just go ahead. It's fine.
I have.
It was a great moment.
Like, in what world are we? This is so insane.
It's a great moment.
It truly was like awesome to watch, and it's funny watching the amount, and we do need to do a full episode on the entire Hezbollah freakout around Trump's just being like, I like him.
It was so great.
And then the next day he wore a suit that was kind of
similar,
the same color and similar to Zoran. Like,
he's never been more really like cute. The South Park caricature of him, where he's like,
"Hey, come on, guy, relax, guy. Hey, Satan."
Do we have time for one final good news thing, or do we have to wrap?
Let's do a good news thing. It's a good news for us thing.
We started the show with Am Yisrael AI.
That's right.
And I'd like to end the show with a new segment that I'd like to call Am Yisrael Hi. Where we just kind of make eyes at some Israelis and say, "Hi, we see you, you see us. We don't hate all of you, and we're happy if you're listening to us." Because Orly Noy, we've had some great Israeli guests. Let's be clear. Some of our best episodes have been with radical people, Jews living there, radical Jews who have left there. Mm-hmm. Obviously being inside of it gives you an angle. And we can't privilege those voices over Palestinians who live there, but they have a unique perspective that's important. And Orly Noy came on, and she posted on her Facebook in Hebrew, but we have the translation here. "I had the pleasure of being a guest on a podcast with the winning name Bad Hasbara, which is, as the brilliant Daniel and Matt call it, the most moral podcast in the world."
That's right.
And I was very curious to see what her followers would say to this. Okay, so here is what some of them said, and they were all positive.
Oh,
the most moral podcast in the world. This is huge. These were all written in Hebrew. These are all translated. Someone else says "wala," which is that's an Arabic word used frequently in Israeli Hebrew. "Love them to pieces, because to conquer America, then only with them." I think what the meaning was, that's the literal translation, would be like, okay, if you're going to conquer America, do it with these guys. Do it with the Bad Hasbara podcast.
We sure are conquering America over here.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Yeah.
Ride the winning wave.
Yeah.
Please subscribe. We're almost at 49,000.
It's a lot.
Someone said, I listened yesterday.
It's not bad.
I listened yesterday, and you really formulated a lot of the thoughts I had that day. It was really good to listen. It was sad and important. Toda. Someone else said, "Thank you very much." And then my favorite comment, "This is one of the most powerful podcasts of the English-speaking left."
Wow.
Well done.
Wow.
Okay?
High praise.
Now, I'm going to admit it. I have some fondness for Israelis. I just do. I always will. Their country is insane.
We're both shaking our heads.
Hopefully it won't exist in the near future.
And they will be repatriated to a much better place.
Exactly.
But I love it. I love it when our show can pierce the wall. Whether it's Palestinians listening in Gaza, as we know they do, or in the West Bank, or the little pockets of sanity in Israel, or so-called Israel, listening to the show and hearing something and recognizing what we're pointing to. And maybe, who knows, maybe we can reach people and soften up that wall of carnage.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's for me, it's not like, especially like it's someone who's like an Israeli is not some foreign thing to me growing up in West LA. It's a lot of Israelis. I grew up in a very Israeli part of the city, and so I have no. There are some people who I think have a knee-jerk thing when it comes to Israel, where they're just like, I hate them all, and I'm like, I kind of get it, because all you have seen is, of course, them being bloodthirsty, genocidal monsters. Having grown up, obviously, I have no specific prejudice against anyone, but I will say that, of course, Israelis in general, I'll say the society is a sick, racist, genocidal society.
100%.
And the people who are there listening to this podcast and who are just like, damn, this is good. There are sane people who are there who understand what's going on, and they, at the very least, have one parasocial output or outlet where they can be like, hey,
And
those
we
guys get it. We're trash.
And we need for them to get more courageous than that.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know any of these people who commented,
And,
except one. And I know that person is active, but it's not enough ultimately to just be like, yeah, we suck. What are you going to do about it?
Listen,
what are you going to do about it, asshole?
Well, yeah.
As Pacino said.
Glengarry Glen Ross. Yeah. Yeah. But listen, I love to be the equivalent of the, Afrikaners get real hour. Yeah. And, hey, listen, if you are someone who's an Israeli and you're listening to this podcast and you fucking understand the evils of the Hasbara machine and also the, what do they call it? The poison machine in internal Israeli society, then I think you, at the very least, can sit back and enjoy being clowned on. That's fine.
And send us some shekels for the effort.
Absolutely. But it is nice. I mean, Orly was fucking such a fantastic guest.
Incredible
guest.
Guest.
The insights from Israelis and Palestinians who have who live there have been really, I think, irreplaceable for this podcast, because people do need to know inside what's going on.
Correct.
So anyways, that's nice. Always nice to hear something positive. For the most part, Israelis
not
are
Nora's favorite segment. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah. I will say, for the most part, Israelis have been putting us on lists to to either destroy or at the very least to tank our 5-star rating. So it's nice to see ones that are
your hearts are good and warm and big. And I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah. I love it for us. And hey, you know what? Shout out to anyone who listens to this podcast and finds it as a refuge.
We make space for people whose hearts are cold and shriveled and full of venom and hate.
Yeah,
mine. And those who are filled with love.
Yeah, as well as the freaks who still feel empathy for all human beings.
Yeah. And Melanie Phillips, you of course are invited to be a guest.
No.
But yeah, that is the podcast. Nora, it was so great having you on. We love having you on.
I love you guys.
Please come back whenever.
Anytime.
Yay.
Anytime.
Where can people find your work?
Always at electronicintifada.net. I'm on Twitter. I will never call it by its new name. At
same.
Nora BF. Yeah, exactly. Because no. And you can find us on YouTube at the Electronic Intifada. We have a live stream every Thursday, except not Thanks-taking Thursday, but usually every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And
it's great. It's a really fantastic one. I mean, I think a lot of our audience is already huge fans of your live stream and, of course, all of your journalism as well.
Yeah,
but
where we sometimes drop the ball on the most current events and analysis, you guys never do. I mean, that's what you do.
That's what we do.
We
That's
rely
what
on
we're
people
here
like
for.
you to
We're
keep
all
us
a
up
big
to date.
family.
Yeah. Whereas we comb Twitter for the dregs of Israeli society.
We type
Bless
into
your
the Twitter
hearts.
search bar, me fucking donkey.
Yeah, exactly. Patreon.com/badasbar@gmail.com for all your
Speaking
questions.
of sorry to interrupt you there, Matt, but just so everyone knows, don't expect a bonus Patreon episode this week. Instead, because it's Thanksgiving, or we're just taking a break.
We're taking a break.
But everyone's going to get a treat.
That's right.
Later this week. So just
everyone
look out for
in
that.
the main feed is going to get a treat.
Look out on YouTube and the main feed for that.
That's right. That's right. Badasbar@gmail.com for your questions, comments, and concerns. Betarhelp phone line 474-348-5259. All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for listening. And until next time, from the river to the sea.
Oh, take it easy, Melanie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jumping jacks was us. Push-ups was us. Krav Maga us. All karate us. Taking Molly us. Michael Jackson us.